If you want to grow some big, voluptuous, juicy glutes, then this podcast is going to be for you. Both men and women, by the way, should want voluptuous glutes. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Eric Roberts Fitness Podcast. And like I said, in this episode, we're talking all things glute growth, exercise selection. How many calories should you be eating? Should you bulk? Should you cut? Can you lose fat and build muscle at the same time? All of the questions answered. And we're joined, as always, on Fridays by my co-host, Sophie. What's going on, Soph?
Hi, how are you? Welcome back.
Guys, this is how much I love you. I literally just landed an hour ago from a plane coming from Miami back to Virginia. Now I am here recording the pod and we're rocking and rolling. Yeah. Haven't even,
I
well,
love
actually, I
it.
did unpack because I only pack like 7 things. So it doesn't take me that
Really?
long to unpack.
Dude,
But yeah.
I have not unpacked yet for Miami.
You got back like 4 days ago.
I know.
Dude, what is up with that? You got to stop that shit.
What? I'm like me and half the population, okay?
Yeah, you're the bad half of the population. We need to be the
I
good
know.
half of the
I know.
population.
I know.
Dude, I can't like function.
I
I would
actually
like lose
usually
my mind.
do that. I usually do that. For some reason this time I just haven't gone around to it, but I do think I am going to throw everything in the wash today and
Yeah.
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 I had a
So,
washer, or I'd say the Airbnb, so I had a washer and dryer. So just did all the
so
laundry
you
before, just put it away, good to go.
that's such a hack, actually. Washing before you return from a trip.
100%.
I actually really love that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
I love that.
It makes
I
life
love
so
that.
much easier. Yeah, dude.
I love it.
Dude, how was your time in Miami? Anything fun?
It was good. Not
Very
really.
quick.
I didn't. It was okay. So I have a problem where I cannot fall asleep when there's multiple people in the room. So it was my sister, my niece, and my mom, and I had to share a bed with my mom. Barely got any sleep. I literally slept for like 2 hours the second
Oh,
night
fuck.
and maybe 3 hours the first night. I was supposed to go to Disney the day after I came back and I had to cancel because I was like, I'm sorry, I am like a zombie right now. I'm walking zombie. So
Well, dude,
it was
you gotta
fun. It was good.
be careful about that, man, in terms of getting sick. That's how people get sick. You travel, you pick up all the germs, you don't sleep.
You're
Gotta
right.
make sure
I'm
you're on
feeling
top
good
of that.
now, so knock on wood, I
Yeah.
am healthy. But yeah, no, it was good. Very short. Nothing crazy. How about you? Did you have fun?
It's just great. I mean, life that
That's awesome.
I'm not doing another winter here. I'm just not doing it. So
Dude, just
yeah,
come to
I
Florida
have some
next year.
ideas. I'm scheming to get down to Florida. I mean, dude, this was my day almost every single day, right? I wake up at like between 5 and 6, somewhere around there, do some work until like 8:30 or 9, and then I have breakfast. I go outside because it's fucking 75 and sunny. I go outside, get some vitamin D, get some sunlight. I make like 2 or 3 or 4 TikTok videos. I answer some emails, answer some Slack messages, come back inside, finish up a little bit of work, go to the gym around like 1, then come back, have some dinner, walk outside again. Life's great. Life's great. And then
That's
I
what
get
your
back here.
life would be like, dude, if you just like I'm
It
telling you.
will.
Yeah.
It will.
Yeah.
It will be like that very soon.
Yeah. So I
Yeah, man.
remember you saying, I don't know, one of the times that we had talked about you moving to Miami that you were like, I'm gonna work less, da, da, da. I'm like, no, like look what you just did. Maybe you work a little bit
Yeah.
less, but you have this lifestyle that,
Quality of life will be better.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. No, I mean,
That's
100%. Like,
awesome.
yeah, dude. So, yeah, I get back here. I mean, I got back here and like I can't even park in my driveway because we got like 12 inches of snow. And by this point, it's all ice. So I can't even shovel it.
Yikes.
So, like, I don't know what
Bro,
the
that
fuck I'm going to do.
sucks. That sucks ass.
Yeah. Yeah. This is what I imagine like people who have like just chronic depression feel like. I just awful.
Oh my,
Awful. It's
you're
all
so
good.
funny, dude. You're so
It's
funny.
good, dude.
Well, I'm glad you had a good time in Miami. We'd love to
Yeah.
see it. You'll be back very soon.
Yeah, I'll be back soon. I'll be back there in March. I'll be there for like a month, and in a couple of weeks. And listen, I'm very, well, I don't joke that I hate the cold and I hate snow. I don't joke about that, but like, I joke about like, I'm very, very blessed. Like, I get to go to Turks and Caicos in 2 weeks, and so that'll be really cool. Get to go to Miami.
That's in 2 weeks. Oh my God.
2
Forgot about
weeks.
that.
2
Wow.
weeks. 2 weeks. 2
Wow. That's
weeks. Yeah.
awesome. Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
man.
That's
So it'll be
awesome,
fun.
dude. Wow, I forgot that you were doing that.
You're very
Oh my
shocked?
god. Wait, so speaking of trips, do you remember I told you that I might go to Colombia?
Yeah.
I'm going.
That's good.
Yeah.
When are you going?
I'm going next week.
Nice. Let's go.
Yeah, so
How
I'll be
long?
there for
Short
2
trip
weeks.
again?
2
2
weeks, 2 weeks.
weeks. Wow.
So I'm bringing all my
Wow.
shit. I'm gonna work from there because
Yeah.
I can't take like I can't take any time off. I literally just went on vacation.
Yeah, yeah,
So I'm just
yeah.
gonna work there. I'm gonna be all my shit. Like I'm gonna make sure like I'm on my
Let's go.
schedule, and then
Yeah.
yeah, I'll be doing some exploring at
I
night,
love that.
and on the weekends I'll be going
That's
from the
awesome.
5th to the 18th.
Let's go.
So maybe the next pod I'll be in Colombia.
Let's go.
So
Well,
I'm
I
excited
think
for
you will
that.
be. Or no, not
No,
next.
I will. Well,
Ye I think this is the 4th because the 2nd is
I won't.
Monday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not next week, maybe the
Yeah.
following week. Yeah,
Correct.
so I'm excited. I texted Tara today and I was like, "Hey, just like I'm going to Colombia in 2 weeks."
Dude, you're
So
going to
or in a week, and I'm just
Colombia?
like I don't know what
Jeez,
I'm gonna
let's
do about
go.
the deficit. I don't know what I'm gonna
Dude,
do about the deficit. I have no idea, Eric.
this fucking well, if you're very active, I mean, who knows? You might be like, if you're getting 10 to 15, like I was getting 15K steps a day, like it was nothing because it's just like I'm
Yeah.
outside, I'm walking around, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. I don't even
we'll
care
see.
if I am not losing weight as long as I'm not
Yeah.
gaining weight. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm gonna be in an Airbnb, so there's kitchen. Like, I mean, I
Totally.
could cook and all the things.
Is it
So
same time zone or different time zone?
I think it's an hour
So
behind.
same, more or less the same. Yeah.
So
Cool. That's
yeah.
awesome.
Oh my god, look at
Dude,
us.
big
We're
week
both
for you.
traveling.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Traveling, getting a car. Let's go. Congrats on the car.
Thanks. I'll pick it up tomorrow. I can't believe I
Let's
did that. That was
go.
crazy. That was
You're so
crazy. Dude, I don't know how like
I'm proud
adults
of
do
you.
this shit. People just buy cars. Like what?
It's wild, right?
Yeah, I haven't bought a car since 2017. Are you kidding me? It's
Dude,
been
I'm
9
hip.
years. People just like buy cars. It's like
Yeah.
nothing.
People
Oh
buy
my
cars
god.
frequently. Frequently.
What?
hmm
No, my anxiety levels were up here, okay? So
Yeah, but it'll be interesting now that you have done it. Like you'll be like, oh, what?
do I
Why
lose
was
the
I? Yeah, like
so
why was I
fearful of
so?
it?
Yeah, right, right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but it's gonna be sick. I got the white interior, so I'm
Yep,
excited. It's gonna be
that's dope,
sick. I'm
dude.
excited. Yeah.
Congratulations, dude. You're just
Thanks.
crushing life. How old are
Oh,
you again?
thanks. I'm 27.
Dude, just crushing life right now. Jesus
Thanks. So
Christ.
are you, Eric. So are you.
Doing what I can.
What?
I'm just doing what I can.
Well, me too. Just doing
Just
what
doing
I
the best I
can.
can.
Just doing what I can. Yeah, same here.
Crushing it,
That's
homie.
awesome, dude. That's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, big week. Big
Yeah.
week. Yeah, so we'll both be traveling because you're gonna be. When do you leave again?
Yeah, but so my,
You're
which is
not
funny.
working, which I know
Oh
you're
my
not gonna
God,
work.
no, 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 no.
Yeah, no,
I'll be
I know
doing
that.
absolutely nothing. Yeah.
No, that's
So
awesome.
yeah, dude. So yeah, I'm leaving the 14th and coming back the
Okay,
21st.
there you go. So
Gone
we'll
that
be on
week.
overlap.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I lie. I will work. This is how I take this one trip. And it's funny because like I just said, I just got back from Miami and like I worked the entire time.
Right.
And honestly, I was going to take a picture of this. There's not many things I love more than being in the airport working and then
Hmm.
being on the plane working. Because between like, because I get there like 2 hours early. We talked about this. I'd rather get there
Yeah.
early than not.
Same.
So,
Same.
yeah. So I'm like, so this morning I was at the gate like 2 hours before, couldn't do anything else but work. And then I get on the plane, means, you're on the plane for almost 2.5, 3 hours. So
Yeah.
that's like 5.5 hours of just
Of
straight
work.
interrupted, can't have any distractions. Like you just have to work. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing much I love more. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I
it's
think I'm
great.
gonna do
So
the
I'll do
same.
that for this trip
Yeah.
too. But then once I land in, okay, I'll tell everyone the story who's not avid podcast listeners.
Yeah.
In March, no, in 2021, I took a trip to Mexico. And as soon as I landed, like this was the first time ever. So I started my business in 2020. I took a trip in 2020, but I still had like notifications and I still like kind of worked. And then in 2021, I took a trip again. This was the first time in my business owner life that I had ever turned off notifications. So like not even do not
Really?
disturb, but like no notifications, no nothing at all. My first time ever. And like that week was like, wow, this is magical. And so like I have a
Like, this is
rule.
awesome.
Yeah, I have a rule. Whenever I land in whatever country I'm going to, no notifications are off and I'm
Period.
just chilling.
I love it, dude. No, that's no, that's a hack. I think I'm gonna do that for Colombia too. Like, it makes sense. Just take that time and take advantage of it and get some work
Dude, you
done. I
should.
love it.
You should.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will. I
Yeah.
will. Be carrying around my 2 laptops.
You're like Kevin Gates. You know who that
Yeah.
is?
No.
He has a song, it's called Two Phones. He's got, like, 2 phones, but you got 2
Yeah.
laptops. It's all good.
Right.
Cool.
Okay, before we jump in, do you stop the deficit?
Um, I would say when I was in Miami, I was there for 6 days. I would say I probably was in a deficit 4 and not in a deficit 2 because of the amount of
Okay.
activity that I did. So, like, I was walking 15K steps. I ran twice. I ran 2 times. I worked out 3, 4 times. So, I would probably say all in all, I was probably in a weekly deficit, yeah. And then when I get
Okay.
back here, like, I'll be in a deficit today. I'll probably I would assume in a deficit for at least so I have 2 weeks left, at least one of those 2 weeks, I'll probably be in a deficit. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I love it, dude. I love it. All right. Well, shall we get started? We've been
let's do it.
talking nonstop now. All right.
Yeah,
Awesome. So today we're going to be talking about all things about glute growth, which I don't think you've done a pod on growing the glutes in a bit.
a minute.
So yeah, in a
Yeah.
minute. So the girls want to hear it. Actually, the girls and the boys, I
Boys
guess.
should wanna hear it too. Gotta grow your glutes too.
You're right. We'll get into why that's important later on. So,
Correct.
um, okay. So let's get started with question number 1. What are the top 3 exercises for building glutes and what makes them so effective?
Hmm. So, before I answer the question, I wanna give the mistake that most people make, which is falling into the trap of it's the sensation trap. Like people prioritize exercises where they feel the biggest burn or like a cramp in their glutes rather than exercises that apply the most mechanical tension because that mechanical tension is what actually builds glutes, not just feeling my glutes burn during a banded kickback or a glute bridge. And for example, somebody spends 20 minutes doing banded clamshells and glute kickbacks and they feel their glutes on fire, but they don't do RDLs because they don't feel the same burning sensation. And so the solution, the lesson here is tension is greater than sensation, greater than feeling the muscle work when it comes to building muscle. So we need exercises that are going to load the glutes with a high amount of mechanical tension and load the glutes when they are in a stretched position. So I will teach this as well. There's there's 3 parts of an exercise. There is the stretch position. So think of this like going down in an RDL, going down on a bicep curl, going up on a lat pull down because you're stretching your muscle on the way up. So there's the stretch, there's the isometric. So you can think of this like the top of a bicep curl, the if you're doing isometric, like a wall sit, for example, that's like where you just sit there. That's an isometric. So at the bottom of a squat. And then you have the shortening phase. So if the shortening phase is you're curling up the weight, you're shortening your muscle. A tricep extension push down. When you get to the bottom of a tricep extension, that is shortening the muscle. When you get to the top of a side lateral raise, that is the shortened position of a movement. So there's 3 parts of an exercise. We want to prioritize exercises that overload the muscle in the stretch position because research has shown that is the position that is most advantageous for actual muscle building. So, that being said, if we're trying to prioritize the lengthen position, the stretch position, the first exercise I'm going to go with is an RDL or a glute bias back extension. Why is this so good? Well, it creates maximum tension in the lengthened position. And the current research, the current data shows, like I said, hypertrophy, aka muscle building, is superior when a muscle is loaded while stretched. So the analogy that I kind of wrote down here was, think of a rubber band. If you want to create the most potential energy, like, do you hold it loose or do you stretch it as far as it can go to then let it go off? So the RDL is like stretching that rubber band glute fibers. It's lengthening it. It's creating little micro tears and signaling to your muscle, wow, like we are really being loaded in this huge stretch position. It causes more mechanical tension and more muscle growth long term. So that would be number one. Number two would be some sort of, I want to say, like deep squat variation. And this could be a Bulgarian split squat. This could be a safety bar squat. This could be even like a Smith machine squat. Anything. And I would say you get extra benefits if it's unilateral, because you force your glutes to work more when you're doing unilateral work. And for those people who don't know what unilateral means, just one leg. So lunges, split squats, Bulgarian split squats, step ups, all of those are squat variations. Like I just talked about, the deep squat variation. So you get extra credit if you're doing a unilateral. A lot of people think like the hip thrust is the king of all glute exercises, which I may talk about in a second. But research and studies show that when you are doing more deep squats, you get your glutes lengthened and stretched a bit more. And because the glute max is a primary hip extensor, at the bottom of a squat, you have to stretch your glute under a lot of load at the bottom of a squat. And then you have to also use that to get yourself initially back out of the bottom of a squat. So you could think of this like the spring effect, where like the deeper you coil the spring, like the deeper you squat down, the more force your glutes must use to explode back up. So that's why those squat variations are really good. So that'd be number two. And then number three, it is the hip thrust, because the hip thrust is still a great exercise to grow your glutes because it overloads that shortened position so much. It's one of the only exercises where you can do a lot of weight, a lot of load in that short position. So we still, even though, yes, the stretch position is good for muscle building, we still need exercises if we want to fully develop and grow our glutes. We still want exercises that are going to maximally load the glutes in the shorten, the fully contracted position. So it complements the first two by ensuring full, like regional hypertrophy, regional muscle growth. And a side note, this will come back to glute growth, I promise. This is why when you're creating a workout program, it's not just, this is a glute exercise, and so I'm going to do this. Like, this has only been, 8 minutes of me talking about this, but like, this one itty bitty part of the topic, I could go on for literal days about explaining why we would program something in a workout versus why we wouldn't, why we would include this, or why the rep range it is. So all that to say, if we're talking top 3 exercises, RDL, some sort of squat variation, especially single leg squat variation, and then the hip thrust. Those would be my top 3 to build some cakes.
So cakes. Um, the what you just said about the switching the exercises and working with someone, I was just thinking about when I did my first bulk, I remember I really wanted to grow my glutes and we kept switching things every 4 to 5 weeks. So like makes sense.
Yeah,
So I
and but
know
hold on
oh,
really quickly before you move from that, but because
yeah.
I'm trying to give everybody, like, and there is merit to keeping like, you can keep the same exercises for longer, but again, if we're trying to get full regional muscle growth and hypertrophy, it's like if you switch up your exercises every 4 to 8 weeks, that allows you to hit your glutes, if we're talking about glutes, from different angles, from different ranges of motion, from different
Yeah.
loading patterns, from maybe for 4 weeks you do the RDL. But because the RDL is a bit more back intensive and it loads your spine more, maybe then you go to the glute bias back extension because now you're still loading those glutes in the short position, sorry, in the lengthened position, but you're not putting a ton of pressure on your spine and your lower back. But then since you can't go as heavy on that glute bias back extension typically, then you throw back in a kickstand RDL because you want to be able to get the length and position of the kickstand of the RDL, but maybe you want to focus more on one side at a time. And maybe you also want to take some of the pressure off of your lower back. So there's so much to this, but things to think about if you're doing a workout, or just have us make one for you and don't think about it.
Yeah. Going off of the single leg versus dual leg, I mean, would you say other than just the deep squat, would you say that it's equally as important for RDL variations? Like, is it pretty much important to do both, or would you say that like single leg is better for both hip thrusts and RDLs?
I would definitely say single, like, you should be doing single leg variations. So the way that we program our leg workouts is typically we're going to have at least one single leg unilateral lower body exercise in that workout. So if let's say we start with a barbell RDL, maybe we will then do, if we're trying to focus on glutes, maybe we will then do a Bulgarian split squat, and then we'll do a kickstand hip thrust. So that's really technically 2 single leg unilateral exercises in the same workout. And yes, like, just doing the single leg variation, number one, it helps muscle imbalances, which a lot of people tend to have imbalances, especially in their glutes for various different reasons, just because of genetics. Like, when I coached people in person, I had a lot of moms who would, like, hold their kids on one side. So their hips and their glutes on that side were different than the hips and the glutes on the other side. So there's various reasons why incorporating those unilateral exercises are beneficial, but also you get to focus on just using that side of your glute, which can fix imbalances, but also just kind of target the area a tad bit.
What about the kickbacks? Because isn't that like, I mean, maybe it's not as important as these other compound moves, but wouldn't you be at the top of the move is a stretch, that's where it's heaviest, which is when you're lifting your
Top
foot?
of the move, the top of a glute kickback is the shorten position.
No, because you're stretching and stretching, it's getting heavier, right? As you're at the top, then it's the heaviest, right?
How are you gonna tell me no?
He said, "You're wrong, but okay." Sorry, my
Think
logic
no,
is
you're
like
good, you're good.
saying like
Hold on, think about it. I think you're thinking about, you're like you're like moving the weight up. You're not thinking about
right.
the muscle insertion. So if you think about the top of your hip to the bottom of your glute,
Wait, I get what you mean. Yeah, you're right. It's short.
so
Yeah, you're
you're
right. You're shortening it. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. Makes sense. Okay. But it's still a really good exercise, right? It's just more of an isolation exercise.
It's a great exercise. It's more of an isolation, it's more of a shortened position. Now,
You're right.
and you can also think of it like this too, and I would encourage people to do this when you go and do your workouts. even though the glute kickback primarily challenges the glutes in the shortened position, on the way down of a glute kickback, you are stretching your glutes because you are lengthening your glute
Yeah.
muscle, you're strengthening your
Yeah.
glute. So what I would try to encourage people is most people just think about on the way up and they're like, I'm going to squeeze as hard as I can and I'm going to make sure I feel my glutes. But at the same time, visually think about when you're going down from a glute kickback, you're stretching your glutes during that process. And so that can give you a bit more
Right.
hypertrophy benefits when you really control and think about actually stretching your glutes, not just letting momentum take the weight down.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Thank you. You are right, Eric Roberts. Thank you.
Notice how, so actually, side note, notice how like I didn't freak out because I was like, I knew I was right. So I didn't need to like,
Well, you know,
I
you
don't
see how
feel the
my
need.
logic, right?
Yeah,
My
yeah,
logic
for
was like,
sure.
well, you're going up, right? So no, no, I get,
Sure.
I get it,
Yes.
I get it.
Yes.
He said, notice how I am not freaking out. Like I'm just going to calmly explain this. Okay. Next question: how important is nutrition for glute growth, and are there specific dietary considerations someone should make?
Yeah, so I'll start again with the problem or the mistake that most people make, which is unless you are a beginner. And when I say beginner, I mean in the first usually 6 to 12, maybe 18 months of following a real strength training program, not Beachbody, not Orange Theory, not just piecing together random exercises from your favorite gym influencers like the stuff I just talked about, right? Like that sort of stuff. In the first 6 to 12 months, you're a beginner. After that, the mistake that people make is thinking they are going to get significant glute growth by either eating in a calorie deficit or even eating in maintenance. We hear about body recomp all the time, and body recomp is true. The issue with body recomp when we're talking about building glutes, it's so fucking slow. It will happen, but it is so slow. So you will not, number one, notice a big change. I would say if you're truly eating at maintenance and trying to grow glutes, again, if you're not a beginner, maybe 8 to 12 months you'll notice a difference in your glutes, like maybe, and that's like the early end of that stage. So and here's the other thing, even if you eat clean, if you eat healthy, but you're only eating 1,700 calories per day, which if your main goal is to grow your glutes, then most likely not enough for you, depending on your height and your size and all that sort of stuff. But I'm just going by, hopefully you can stick with me here. You would just be spinning your wheels because you're not eating enough to promote muscle growth. The analogy that I thought of was if you want to build a skyscraper that's like the tallest skyscraper in the city, you can't do that without a certain amount of bricks. So the bricks are the calories. You have to have a certain amount of calories to be able to build that skyscraper that you want. Now, how many calories is that? Well, research indicates you don't need a ton of extra calories. You need a controlled calorie surplus of 200 to 300 calories above your maintenance calories. So if your maintenance calories, most people don't even know what they are. You can click the link in the show notes of the podcast. We have a free calorie calculator that you can use. But most people don't even know their maintenance calories, or it takes time to find that, which is why working with a coach is so incredibly beneficial. We can help speed that process up and help make the adjustments as need be. Also, click the link in the show notes to learn about coaching. Let's say your maintenance calories are 2,300. That would mean you're eating 2,600 calories. And some people hear that and like, oh my God, it's crazy. That's like an extra cup of rice and an extra half tablespoon of olive oil. Like it's not like you're going and eating fucking donuts and Oreos and 7 talking tacos entrees like I ordered when I was in Florida. Like that's not what a calorie surplus is. So 2 to 300 above. Also, while while the anabolic window is not necessarily 100% true, I do believe pre and post workout protein intake aids in faster recovery and more MPS, muscle protein synthesis. So having 20 to 30 grams of protein and 20 to 40 grams of protein pre and post workout will be conducive and beneficial to you building more muscle in your glutes. Also, because the improved recovery will help when you go to train your glutes later in the week, which we'll talk about a bit later in the podcast as well. And the third part of this is carb utilization. Your muscles store something called glycogen. This is the energy for your muscles. It comes from carbohydrates. Glutes, for a lot of people, and I mean, for just like anatomically speaking, are one of, if not the largest muscle in the body. They are glycogen hogs. So you need carbohydrates around the workout to fuel heavy mechanical tension driven muscle contracting work. So if you're afraid of carbs, you're not going to grow your glutes. And I get it, but you're just not. You're not going to grow the glutes that you want unless you eat the right amount of carbohydrates at the right times. And so again, the analogy you can think of this as, I said the bricks were calories earlier, but now that we know about protein, carbs, protein is, think of your body, your glutes, like a construction site. Protein is the pile of bricks, and the calories, the carbs and fats are the construction workers. If you have the bricks, but no workers, so maybe you're eating protein, but not eating enough calories, the building doesn't get built. If you have the workers, calories, but no bricks, low protein, the workers just stand around, do nothing. So you need both to come together and work together to be able to facilitate muscle growth. And the last point I'll say before you can chime in, Soph, is your body doesn't want to build muscle. It doesn't want to do it at all. It's the last thing that it wants to do. So you have to force your body and give your body a reason to build muscle. You do that through training, but you also do that through your calories, because your body's main goal is to first get you back to baseline. That is the first thing we need to do. And then once we get back to baseline, then if we have extra energy to go around, then your body says, well, we've gotten back to baseline, we've fully recovered, we're okay, we're safe. But god damn, this trauma that's happening to our glutes, we need to recover from that and then build stronger, more resilient muscle so that we don't keep getting that level of trauma. That's how you build muscle. You adapt. So then it goes and builds the muscle, but it can't do that unless you're at the very least back to baseline first. So this is why after the beginner stage, if you really want to see a difference in your muscle growth, 200 to 300 calorie surplus.
What if you take a break from, I guess this is kind of a selfish question because this has been my case before, but if you take a break from lifting close to failure, um, I don't know, someone's not working out as intentionally and they start working out again, is that considered being a beginner again, or is that just muscle memory at that point once you gain the muscle
It's
back?
muscle memory. Yeah. It's funny.
Okay.
I actually had this conversation with Pat because my
Yeah,
friend Pat, he sometimes he likes to enjoy life, and so he won't be as dialed in with
as
his
you should.
workouts. There you go. And so, but he said, like, the past 3 to 4 weeks, he's been a lot more dialed in. And he's like, dude, I can already tell my shoulders are coming back, my arms are coming back, my chest. And so, yeah, that's muscle memory. Like, it's like you're a beginner, but only for like a month or two max. And then you get back.
Got it. We're just trying to get back to the beginning stages again. I wish I would have started out with you. This is why it's so important to start with the right coach, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, what I was gonna say is,
Well, hold on really quickly. Like you say, I hear this a lot. Like people are like, well, I'm just a beginner. And like, that's when, like, Whether you're the most advanced or a beginner or anywhere in between, it's just about making the most. Like, if you're going to spend all this time working out and you're going to spend the mental energy with your diet and your sleep and your walking and your meal prep, it's like, why would you not want to get the most out of it? Like, just that's why you should hire a coach, is because you want to get the most out of it, no matter what stage you're in. So, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, I was just gonna say, I feel like from what I've seen online, I feel like a lot of people are more on their protein, but I think a lot of people probably aren't, you know, on the calorie situation. So I
They're
feel like eating
afraid.
a
They don't want to gain
yeah,
fat.
right. No, for sure. And that's the thing I wanted to mention is like, okay, so let's say that you do a calorie surplus and you do gain a little bit more weight. Maybe you ate a little bit more than you should have. You can always go to a deficit. Like you can literally always lose weight. But I think I don't know. It's just the more deficits that I do, the more that I'm like, oh, we're good. Because I've done like 6 of them at this point. You know what I mean? So I know that if I gain weight, I can get it right off, like if I need to. So I think people need to remember that even if you did gain weight, it's okay. You can always lose it.
Mhm. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's, I mean, and you can speak to this too from like a calorie surplus doing a bulk. Like, yeah, your clothes are gonna fit a bit tighter. Like your
Yeah.
waist, like your stomach is gonna be have a little bit more body fat on it, but you're gonna grow your fucking glutes or your
Right.
arms or whatever muscle group that you want to grow. So people, well, how do I lose stomach fat and grow my glutes? Again, if you're a beginner, you can do that. But once you're past the beginner stage, and more advanced people know this, when you do a bulk, you will have a less flat stomach. You will
Yeah.
have a little bit more body fat on your stomach. But then after 6 months of you doing a bulk, you go into a cut, a calorie deficit. You keep your protein high, you keep lifting, you don't go in too aggressive of a cut. So then you will lose some of the body fat on your stomach. So now you've built muscle on your glutes, and now you have less body fat on your stomach. And people just keep kind of going back and forth on these two things because that is the most effective way to maximize both, as opposed to trying to do it at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. One more question on this and then we can move on. But how much longer would you say it would take someone that just doesn't want to do a surplus? They just are gonna lift at maintenance and they're
3 to
eating
4 times longer. So if
okay.
so the amount of muscle somebody would build, let's say you're in a surplus and you're in a surplus, you're building 1 to 1.5 pounds of muscle per month, because most people don't understand how slow, and maybe that's what we'll talk about, but like muscle building is slow. So if you, let's just say for the ease of this, you build 1 pound of muscle in a month in
It's
the
a lot.
surplus. In a maintenance, you might build point 0.2, point 0.3, maybe. So yeah, it's going to take substantially longer.
Okay. Note to self. Heard. All right, next question. What's a realistic timeline for seeing glute growth, and how do genetics play a role? And I know that this is there's nuance because it depends on what you consider growth and what progress you want to make. So
Yeah, I mean, the way I'll approach this is I first want to kind of dismiss the like Instagram reality distortion, like believing these 6 week transformations people see on social media, which are for the most part just angles and lighting and a pump. So I think that has really distorted what progress is actually going to look like. And so if somebody trains hard for a month and they measure their glutes and maybe they see no change, that person might think that, oh, this isn't working, or I'm a non-responder and I just can't grow my glutes. And it's like, it's been 4 weeks. What are we talking about? Like, you're not going to get that. Like we just talked about, a fast rate of muscle building is 1.5 pounds per month. Like that would be a lot of muscle being built in a month. And also, the way your body works, you won't just build muscle on your glutes. You can put a lot of it there through good programming and proper volume and the right weekly split. But maybe you'll do a pound on your glutes and then 0.25 on your shoulders and 0.25 on your back, just for, again, easy math. So it's slow. It's going to take a long time. And I think the analogy that I would tell you is like the paper towel effect, which I've talked about before. But if you have a roll of paper towels and you tear a brand new roll of paper towels, you tear 5 sheets off. Does the roll look any different? No, looks the exact same. But if you tear off a sheet every day for the next 30, 60, 90, 120 days, the roll is going to start to look different. The first 20 sheets that you pulled off, you still pulled them off, even though it didn't look different. Progress was still being made. You just couldn't see it yet. So even if you can't see it early on, it doesn't mean progress isn't happening. And a quick maybe timeline for you would be weeks 1 to 4 through 1 to 8, even. A lot of this will be neural adaptations. So what that means is you get stronger, but your muscles don't actually hypertrophy. They don't grow quite just yet in weeks 1 to 8, depending on the person, depending on the calories, depending on the level of intensity. And then weeks 8 through 12 is usually when you start to see some first initial signs of muscle growth, whether it be clothes fitting a bit different, whether it be, even at certain angles, you can tell your glutes are starting to grow a bit more. And I don't think I know, in months 6 through 12, that's when I would say you really start to see some significant structural change in your glute growth, which is why I always tell people, if you're gonna do a bulk, a calorie surplus, do it for 6 months, because that's when you really start to see some long-lasting structural change. Because here's the other part of building muscle. When you start doing, let's say, a more glute-focused workout program, which again, we have, whether you're somebody who you want just fully one-on-one, personalized, everything, white glove, we have that one-on-one coaching. Click the link in the show notes. Or if you're Betty balling on a budget, we got the clubhouse. We have, I think, 2 or 3 3-month glute programs at this point that people really love inside of there. So whichever option you are more towards, you can self-select which one is right for you. But click the link in the show notes of the podcast to check both of those out. But if you're going to do it for 6 months, because that's when you start to build the muscle and get past just the sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. And this is really getting nerdy for people, but there's 2 different types of muscle growth. It is sarcoplasmic and myofibrillar. Sarcoplasmic is like you are stuffing your muscle with more carbs. Your muscle looks bigger and it looks more defined, but it's not because you've actually built new muscle tissue. It's almost just like you're stuffing a pillow with more feathers. And then the myofibrillar hypertrophy, that is you actually building new muscle fiber. And that takes longer than just sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. That's also why some people they'll eat calories a bit more for 2 or 3 months. And then when they go into a deficit, they're like, I lost all my glute gains. No, you just have less carbs in your glutes now. And you didn't stick with it long enough to build the muscle tissue that you need to build to have that long-lasting change. So that is some of the timeline there. And then
Can I ask
again,
a
yeah,
question on that? Okay, so you're saying that someone could see physical growth, but that some like I just want to clarify, but that some of that growth could be contributed by the carbs that someone is eating. So therefore, just because you're seeing growth doesn't mean that it's going to be as lasting of a growth. Interesting. I did
yes,
not know
yeah.
that.
Also depends on where they keep their calories, because they could
Okay.
go to a bulk and then just go back to maintenance, and then they would probably keep all that quote unquote growth because they have the carbohydrates there. But if they slash those carbohydrates and go back into a deficit, no. If it's purely, and also again, this is just, oh man, I mean, it's just there's so much to this, but also the way that you train can influence sarcoplasmic or myofibrillar hypertrophy more as well. For example, somebody who just does a bunch of high reps, 4 sets, 5 sets of 12 to 15, that person typically is going to elicit a bit more sarcoplasmic hypertrophy because it's just so much volume, and your body and your muscles have to keep so much more water and glycogen in there versus more mechanical tension, heavier strength-based work typically lends to more myofibrillar hypertrophy because it's actual tension on the muscle as opposed to just like volume and yeah, without going more in depth. So that can also impact the type of hypertrophy you have.
That's super interesting. I had no idea. I'm glad you touched on that. Awesome. Sorry, continue. Think you were gonna touch on genetics.
Yeah, yeah, no, no. So yeah, just genetics. Again, some people, some people have higher. There's something called your muscle insertions and origins. So some people have higher glute insertions. So like your glutes attach high on your pelvis, and that creates that like shelf look. I know a lot of girls want that shelf look, and there are some exercises you can do to help that, but it's also just in the same way people's biceps look different when they flex them. The same thing is because they have different insertions and origins. It's the same thing with your glutes. Some people have lower insertions, creating a longer, more gradual slope. So you can't change your insertions, but you can max out the muscle volume within them. So this is where like you may not look like the influencer that you see, but you can look like a better and best version of yourself. But you get down a slippery slope when you start to say, I'm doing this exercise to look like that girl. Well, that girl's genetics may have a higher insertion point, and it doesn't matter how well or how hard you train, you will never look like that. You might be able to get better and improve, but you'll never look like that. And it's not because you suck or you're doing something wrong. It's because you'll just never look like that because your genetics. And I don't say this to discourage people, but like you never will. So that and then also just like, just very I think we all can know this. Like well, girls and guys both, but like I'm sure girls primarily want to hear this. Like, or not hear this part, but like just hear the podcast in general. Some girls just have fatter asses. Like, okay, I'm just gonna fucking say it. Like, it just is what it is. Like, it just is what it is. Like, it's just the truth. Like we all know people who like they barely even fucking train and they got an ass. Like, it is what it is. Okay, so like some people are just like that, man. So I just yeah,
You don't have to say it like that, Eric.
it's just the truth, man. I'm
God.
sorry.
Um, dude, such is life, right? Such is
Such is
life.
life. Such is
Such
life.
is life. It sucks. Okay, so just to clarify what you're saying like you cannot, no matter how much you train, you just can't actually alter the shape of your glutes. Like there's no way to actually adjust.
You can build muscle, but what I'm saying is a lot of people look at a girl on social media and they say, "Oh, she's doing this exercise and she says it's for the top glute." And to be fair, that girl might also be right. That exercise might be for the top glute, but her genetics and where her glute inserts on her pelvis is different than where it inserts on your pelvis. And so for those of you watching on YouTube, which if you're not, you should be watching on YouTube. We're on YouTube, Eric Roberts Fitness Podcast. If you if you think about like your pelvis, if you have your glute insertion, one girl might have it attach all the way to the top of the pelvis. You might have it attach halfway up the pelvis. So it's kind of like this part here, like you just don't have like your muscle isn't there. So you're not going to build that part of your glute no matter how hard you try. You'll build all of this and you'll build where you can, but your muscle doesn't insert up there. So you're not going to ever build muscle up there in that part.
Mhm. Well, and it's not just the insertion point, it's also like some people have genetics and they might train not or they might not need to train as hard or as much to get the same results. Like me, for example, I can't grow my glutes. Like it's really freaking hard for me, but I can grow my triceps, like no problem. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, I feel like in that sense also, you know, yeah. And I guess that was gonna be my next question is how can you know apart I mean, I'm gonna talk about myself in my own scenario, my own experience. I tried and I feel like I didn't really get that much progress. I got a little bit of progress, but I don't know if a part of it is that I'm never gonna get there or if it's
Wait, wait,
that
wait, wait, wait. Okay,
what
how don't lie to the people. How long did you eat in a calorie surplus, and how many times did you do that?
I only did one well, I did one full calorie surplus. How long did I do it for? 5 months? I don't know. I don't remember.
So
Like,
you saw a little bit of progress in 5 months. Now imagine if you did that every year for the past 4 years, 5 years.
okay, but not to compare myself, but you look at someone like no, this is good, actually, this is good. You look at someone like Jenna, Jenna's my friend, right? She's seen a lot more progress, and I don't think I think how many surplus has she done? I feel like I've put in I don't know. I feel like she's seen more progress than me in that sense.
Yeah,
So
I'm
then
just
I
gonna
don't but
call
I also think I think she also has better genetics than me though. I feel like I mean, look at all this time that I've worked out though.
you were only in a surplus for 5 months.
Okay.
You
I don't know, man. I do
maybe
feel like I put in a lot I just don't feel like I saw a lot of progress, though.
you're not gonna notice you maybe built 5 pounds of muscle in your glutes, maybe, and that's, like, being generous because, like we talked about, if you were building, let's just say 2 pounds per month, like, some of that maybe went to your triceps, some of that went to your shoulders, some of that went to your chest. So, like, 4 or 3 or 5 pounds of muscle, n no, your glutes aren't gonna look that different. But
Okay.
6 pounds, 8 pounds, 10 pounds of muscle, now you start to notice that structural difference. So that's what I'm saying. I would challenge you, and this is gonna, I mean, you can't, like, this would obviously take time, but like, if you did 6 months of a surplus every year for the next 3 to 4 years, I can almost guarantee you your glutes would look better and improved because of you be adding 5 pounds, 5 pounds, 5 pounds. So it'd be 15 pounds more of glute muscle in the course of 3 years, which is a lot. I mean, it's a lot. It is what it is. But like that's when, and listen, some people's genetics, that's what you gotta like, it's what you gotta do. I'm sorry that it's unfair. I'm sorry that you're 4'11. I'm sorry that I'm 6'4.
Well,
Like it's
it's
just
not even the thing is that, like, I see progress in other areas, and that one, I feel like I don't see a ton. But, yeah, I mean, this is good that we're talking about it so that people at home can I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. And like there is a to a degree I do think I probably could like I don't know that I'm lifting as hard as Jenna is, right? I don't know. I'm probably not. So like there's that component as well. But this is also valid in the sense like it's a lot of work. Like it's not that easy to just let's grow our glutes. Like, oh my God, you have to work out so hard. You have to train so hard. But I
right.
think we see a lot of things on social media, and so like there's this idea that it's so much more, I don't know, accomplishable, and maybe it's a lot of work for people. But I don't know. This is like my unresolved trauma.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I don't. I mean, I'm just gonna be real with you. Like, I was coaching you when you were in a bulk, and you were doing great. But like, it just takes longer than that. Like, I don't. I mean,
Yeah,
since then, you have not done a calorie surplus
I did.
intentionally.
Yeah,
Intentionally, with going close to failure, pushing yourself incredibly hard. And listen, some of that's you've been injured. You have been able to push as hard as you can. So like, there's components of that. And this is also where you feel like you've put in a lot of work, but what does the data actually say?
God, Eric, Jesus. Moving on. Next question. How should training frequency and volume be structured for optimal glute development?
Yeah. So again, I think the problem and the mistake that a lot of people make is only is one of two things. Only training their glutes on leg day and just destroying their glutes, or doing 3, 4, 5 days a week of glutes. Nobody ever goes in between. They always go to one of the extremes. And if you destroy your legs on Monday so bad you can't walk for 4 or 5 days and you wait a full week to train them again, you're only getting one muscle protein synthesis spike throughout the week, because when you train that muscle, you will get some muscle protein synthesis spike for that specific muscle group. So you're limiting yourself with that. And I always go back to the research of James Krieger, who showed that for natural, non-steroid using lifters, there is a bell curve when it comes to sets per muscle group per week. So the bell curve showed after you get to about 8 to 12 sets per muscle group per workout. There is sets per muscle group per week, but I'm going to focus on workout. 8 to 12 sets per muscle group per workout. So that's 12 sets max of your glutes in that one workout. After you do that, there is diminishing returns. You're putting a level of stress on your body that you're not going to be able to recover from, and you actually have negative muscle protein synthesis in that muscle group because I don't want to say overtrained, because technically that's not the right word, but for the sake of this podcast, you've overtrained. So let's think about what 12 sets looks like. 4 sets of hip thrust, 4 sets of lunges, and then 4 sets of RDL. That's right there. It's already 12 sets. And then people will then go and do 4 sets of glute kickback, 4 sets of back extensions, 4 sets of banded. You're doing 25 fucking sets of glutes in a single workout, let alone over the course of a week. It's no wonder you're not seeing progress with your glute growth. On the flip side of that, people are working out their glutes 3, 4, 5 times a week with 20 sets per workout. You're doing 100 sets of glutes? What the fuck are you doing? Again, it's no wonder why you're not seeing any progress. Your workout plan is shit. So, what I would encourage you to do instead, what has worked really well for a lot of our clients, and I'm going to argue this with you, Sophie, a little bit. Not argue, but I'm going to shout out one of our employees, Nicole. Nicole has seen a lot of gains in her glutes, and she hit her glutes 2 times a week. And so I'm using Nicole as the example of what I want to explain to you guys and show you. She hit her glutes 2 times a week. And you don't want to hit it just once, but I really don't I know you should not be training your glutes more than 3 times a week. And even if you are doing 3 times a week, you then have to structure those workouts in a very smart way so that you're not doing too much weekly volume for your workouts. So that's why I like the sweet spot of 2 times per week. And you should be doing 10 to 20 hard, heavy, close to failure sets over the course of the week. So this might look like day 1, leg day. You're doing 3 sets of 3 sets of heavy RDLs, 3 sets of heavy Bulgarian split squats, and 3 sets of heavy hip thrust. That's 9 sets for your glutes in that workout. So that would be like day 1. And then day 2 could be 3 sets of a heavy lunge. So like a reverse lunge or even like a regular split squat. 3 sets of heavy back extensions. And then 3 sets of heavy kickstand hip thrust. So you have stretch position, stretch position, stretch position, stretch position, shorten, shorten. There's 9 sets, so 18 total sets. That would be a fuck ton of volume on your glutes over the course of that week. You don't need a 3rd day of glutes. You already have 18 working sets of glutes. That's all you need, because if you end up doing more, you will not be able to recover. Think of muscle growth signals like a suntan. You don't just go out and tan for 10 hours on Monday and then like hide in the cave for the rest of the week. Like you'll just get burned on Monday and then feel like shit the rest of the week, and you won't improve your tan the rest of the week. You go out for, I don't know how long people actually fucking tan, but I'm just going to make up numbers. You go out for like 60 minutes, 3-4 times a week, right? Like you do it in more moderation throughout the week. This allows for more consistent stimulation without the sunburn because you're not overdoing it at a time. And people overdo it in the one workout or by doing 3, 4, 5 times a week. And it's also funny, they're doing this with being in a calorie deficit. What the fuck? And then you fucking wonder why you're not growing your glutes. You can't stick to your diet. You feel like shit. Your hormones are shit. You feel exhausted. You can't sleep. It's like, dude, my God, I just wish you would sign up for coaching. I kind of know what the fuck I'm doing. A little bit. Just a tad. I've done this for a little bit. I've helped a couple of people in my days. Oh, man.
You sound so frustrated.
I'm frustrated because I know how frustrating people get. Like,
Yeah,
I know how frustrated you are that you're trying so hard, but like, it, it's, it's, it's like if you were trying to screw in a hole to hang up a wall, to hang up a painting in your house, but you're trying to screw it in with like a fucking hammer. Like you have the wrong tool. You're doing the wrong shit. That's why like, you're going to continue to be frustrated. You're going to continue to see no fucking progress despite working super hard.
right.
There's nothing worse than working really hard and not making any fucking progress. And they're doing that because their plan is shit. Their plan is shit because they don't sign up with us.
Yeah. Like half the battle's already just going to the gym, but if you don't even have the right program, then like what the fuck?
Well, that's what I'm saying. And I feel like, and especially people who listen to this podcast, you're doing half the battle, but
Yeah.
you have 49% of the battle. You'll never
Yeah.
win because it's only 40. You need the other 51%, which is the plan, the adjustments, the execution, doing the right shit.
Yeah.
It's like a business owner. If somebody has 51% majority, whatever they say goes. It doesn't matter what the other person says. Right? You have 49%. You can do all the work you want, but if you're not doing the right work, it's not going to fucking matter.
Yeah. And I will also say it's like people have to have realistic expectations too, right? Like I see it, for example, with Jenna. I know how hard Jenna works and how much she trains. She's crazy. She's savage. Am I like that intense of a level when I work out? Even before I injured? Probably not. So, which is okay. Like nobody's saying like that's not necessarily wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with you working out 3 to 4 times a week, eating like, maintenance, protein, and like maybe you're not like lifting as crazy. But like also you can't have the expectations. Like if you want to grow your glutes, then this is what it takes. You're gonna have to get your calories in check. You're gonna have to get your protein. You're gonna have to get your program. You're gonna have to sleep and you have to recover and like do all of these things. So like this is what it takes. If that's what you want. That's what it takes. And one more question because I just want to clarify because I don't think we ever did this even when I wanted to grow my glutes through my surplus. Like people, you don't really program glute only days, right? Like you'll usually
No,
have, right.
at least
So I
one
feel like
other.
that's important too
Yeah.
because people will try to do that just a
Mm-hmm.
glute day. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the reason being is, and this actually happened. I've been doing this long enough to like I'm the old guy. Okay, I've been
Okay,
around the block a couple of
29-year
times.
old.
Yeah. Well, in workout, I am old. I saw this back in 2021 because people were so obsessed with growing their glutes, they would only do glutes. And then in
Mm-hmm.
2022 and 2023, you want to know what happened? People started getting hamstring injuries. People started getting hip
Interesting.
injuries. People started getting back injuries, quad injuries. You know why? Because you
Mm-hmm.
so overdeveloped your glutes and you underdeveloped everything else. You underdeveloped your hamstrings, your quads, your hip flexors, your hip internal external rotators. You overworked your spinal erectors. So people's injuries started to pile up. And I'm like, again, no shit. No fucking shit injuries are piling up. Your training program is fucking dog shit.
Go figure.
God.
Oh
God,
my,
man.
my, my. Um, I love it. This has been a great pod. I'm glad we talked about this. Is there anything else? Any other words of wisdom,
No, I
advice
would
you'd
just
like to
say, like,
share?
go into this. Number one, sign the fuck up for coaching. Like, stop. Why would you want to waste more time? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. You're just wasting more fucking time doing the wrong shit. So, like, I don't know. Number one, sign up for coaching. Link in bio, link in show notes, whatever the fuck we're on right now. Number two, do the surplus. Stop being a little bitch and do the fucking surplus. Like, you're so afraid of gaining fat. You're so afraid of, like, my clothes won't fit. If you don't want to grow your glutes, don't do the fucking surplus. If you want to grow your glutes, do the fucking surplus. Okay? Yes, you're going to gain a little bit of body fat. Yes, your clothes will fit a bit tighter, but you're going to grow your glutes like you want. And you can always, like Sophie said, lose the fat after. Okay? You know how to lose the weight. You've already done it. So you can just do it again.
Yep.
It's not that big of a fucking deal. And it's not going to take that long. It might take you 8 to 12 weeks to lose that little extra belly fat that you don't want. It's not that big of a deal. So many people, they never get to the body they want to get to because they're so afraid of doing the surplus. Do the fucking surplus. Don't be a bitch.
And it's also like, I don't know. I think I don't know. It's kind of, again, we've talked about it. This is where having a coach is important because they can kind of keep you sane. But the longer you do it, the more you're like the time, like after you do your second, your third deficit, you're like, oh, okay, like we got this. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm on my, I don't know. I don't even know what deficit I'm on. Like 6 or 8 since I started my fitness journey 3 years ago, and we're good. I'm losing weight, and like I know how to lose weight. There's nothing better than like this feeling of knowing that I can lose weight. Like it's crazy when I think about that versus me when I started. Like I know how to lose weight. It's crazy. Crazy
Nuts.
concept. Crazy
Yeah.
concept, right? Crazy concept. Crazy
Crazy
concept.
concept, dude. Yep.
Anyways. All
That's
right,
right.
dude. Well, that was a great pod.
Yeah. It was a really good pod. Thank you. So everybody say thank
Gracias.
you, so for coming up with the pod. So
Of
we
course.
appreciate it. Yep. Cool. All right,
Gracias
guys.
so
Well, like
much.
I said, if you want to get a not dog shit program, click the link in the show notes of the podcast. We'd love to be able to help you out. I mean, truly, if you've listened this far and you want to grow your glutes and you're not going to sign up, like, I don't know what the fuck. Like, I don't know what I got to do to make you sign up at this point. But yeah, so click the link. Love you guys. Peace.